Hello, hello. This is Kathy of kathysright.com. And welcome. I hope you're listening. You're either listening on Apple, Spreaker, iHeart, Spotify. There are several others, but I'm everywhere now. I'm almost sick of myself. Well, another thing that I'm pretty sick of is racism, riots, protest, people behaving badly, very badly. And it's nothing new. It's just that we just came out of being sequestered in our homes, and all of a sudden people have a new raison d'être. They just have a new thing that this is my reason for living. It is pathetic. And you got people kneeling now to Black Lives Matter. I mean, don't they realize that's an organization? It's a thing. It's not a God. I mean, it's not something you should be bowing to or bowing before or bowing in front of. But I've seen multiple photos and videos of white people bowing in solidarity. That's bullshit. That's not solidarity. Solidarity to what? To being angry? Oh, that's right. It's about that George Floyd guy, right? He was such a stellar person. I'm sorry he died. I really am. I'm sorry when any person dies, because it's always a loss for their families. There's always somebody who cares for them, no matter how derelict they are. And that guy died at the hands of the law. I've seen a lot of conspiracy theories going around. Some say that he's not even really dead. I don't know really what to believe firmly, because I no longer trust the news. I think I've made myself clear about that. Why would I? I mean, they lie and then they don't ever retract anymore. They don't come back and say, oh, sorry, we lied. Remember Russia? Trump's he's in league with Russia and he's working for Russia. That was the most ridiculous thing. And they really kept shoving that down our throat. And so now it's all, this man has had, I've seen 4 funerals, like in 4 different cities, for a man nobody knew. A career criminal that nobody knew. But all of a sudden, he's their raison d'être. Alors, je ne peux pas. I can't. And so I understand that there is a sadness. It's enveloped all over the country. It's really, I think these people that are protesting really just wanted to get out of the house. I mean, more so than anything. And so this was their reason to get out of the house and stop the social distancing, because people were sick and tired of being sequestered in their homes, imprisoned, if you will, in their homes. I myself kind of did that. I still went out every once in a while. I got to golf, once or twice since this whole thing. I miss golf a lot. But I don't get to do it very much because I'm writing and I'm podcasting and I'm doing things that I think are really important and I need to get done. But I think it's really important that we see this for what it is. And what I see, maybe it's just my way of seeing the world, but what I see is a lot of people taking the opportunity of this unfortunate murder to have their voices heard, to get out of the house and misbehave, because everybody's misbehaving and getting away with it, it seems. I mean, just a month ago, people were being arrested for opening up a beauty parlor. People were getting arrested for surfing. People were getting arrested for playing ball with their kids. People were getting arrested for exercising their rightful civil liberties. Now, all of a sudden, people are not getting arrested. Well, there's some, the ones that the police actually catch. But people are getting away with so much. They're stealing, looting. They looted Macy's, of all places. That's like an icon of American business. And it represents a lot to a lot of people in America and around the world, because everybody's heard of Macy's. Miracle on 34th Street, remember that movie? Macy's. So when when uncivilized human beings are able to loot Macy's and destroy, I'm going to say across the nation, thousands of businesses, and there to be no repercussions. They've got Hollywood, gathering money. I think it was $6 million the last I checked, $6 million to bail out protesters. No distinguishing between looters and protesting. There was no distinguishing, just basically to bail people out who needed to be bailed out of jail. People who probably ought to be in that jail. Meanwhile, while they're arresting all these people who are all the rules, they're not arresting the ones who are doing the worst, which are the people who are delivering pallets of bricks at these protests. And everybody has a phone. Everybody's got a phone. But nobody seems to be able to get a picture of who this person or people are who delivered these pallets. I mean, you have to have like a forklift to deliver pallets of bricks. So how does one miss that? How does that happen? And there's other conspiracy theories now that are saying that George Floyd is actually not dead. That's the scariest one because, I mean, I watched that video and there are some things in it, and I do believe he's dead, but there's just too many ifs, ands, and buts about it. Because I watched that video and that the people who put George Floyd on the gurney were not EMT people. They were not medical people. They were actually police officers armed with bulletproof vests. And why would they be the ones that got out of an ambulance to pick up his lifeless body? Why not a medical person or even a nurse? So that tells me something's afoot. I find the whole thing to be problematic. And I think it's completely been overblown as far as protesting. They are protesting in London for this guy. London, England. And we're back. This is Kathy of kathysright.com. Welcome back. I hope you're having a lovely day. I am. I'm sitting in the suburbs, which is safety for me. And I've never lived in an inner city. I would probably never want to live in an inner city. Some people love it. They thrive. I myself would dread it because the noise, I like my privacy. I like to have a little land around me, not too much that I have to take care of it, but just a little separation so that I enjoy my friends when we get together. But in the city, it's sort of sad because people are on top of each other, kind of like rats. And it's, I don't know how people do it, but I wouldn't live in a city. I love to visit the city. I love the energy. In fact, one of my favorite places to visit used to be actually New York City. It was one of my favorite places to visit. I love to shop there. I go to shows. I love I love the delis there. You can't get better deli food than in New York. So I feel sorry for my brothers and sisters in Christ that have to live there still. I don't know why they don't get the hell out of there. It's just dreadful to me. I mean, why would you want to be where there's a heightened threat of crime? Why would you want to be there? I don't know. I feel sorry. But nevertheless, I wanted to get to something. And it's about a problem that I have with white guilt. I find it disgusting. I find it really disgusting. I don't want to talk to anybody who has white guilt when I hear it coming from their mouths. It's almost like they're looking at me like they feel sorry for me, and then they feel guilty, and then they feel better about themselves because they feel guilty. And it's just a never-ending circle of doom. It's terrible. I mean, nobody should feel guilty about being born whatever color you are. I mean, not unless you yourself owned slaves or you yourself were a slave. That's why I totally don't buy into the whole thing that, yeah, you should treat me special. We need special rules because we're black. We don't need any special rules because we're black. We don't need affirmative action. That's the dread. I mean, so many people did, get an education from affirmative action, but it is assumed by many white people that if you are black and you are educated, that you are the product of affirmative action, which is bullshit because I was in the top 5% of my class graduating. So I would have gotten into my colleges anyway. Every college I applied to, I got in. So I would have gotten in anyway. So that's one of the reasons I don't like special rules, special things for black people, because we really don't need them anymore. What we do need is school choice. Now there you have something we can work with. And school choice should be available to everyone. And I think that when we get there, and I hope and pray we get there soon, but hopefully maybe that might be a silver lining for this pandemic. Maybe because people homeschooled for a while, they find homeschooling as a viable option. Some people, dread that. I did too. I mean, I did some homeschooling for my son and my daughter for a short time, but my son, for a couple of years. And I find homeschooling, it was easy because, the grade level that he was at was I think it was third grade. Yeah, third grade. I mean, who can't do third grade? And it would take maybe 2 hours of the day to do all 6 subjects. That's crazy. So they spend most of the time in public schools going to different assemblies, standing in line, they have to stand in line for everything. And it's just teaching them to be good little socialists, basically. But those things are not skills. Apparently those skills did not take because people now use that whole skill of standing in line, at riots and looting, and just saying this is obvious failure of public education. And I think if we had school choice, teachers would make more money quite naturally because they would be competed for. They would have to compete for jobs, and there would be multiple jobs to choose from, and then they would be paid more. When I was in San Diego, I had a very dear friend. She was a school teacher. She taught kindergarten at a private Jewish school. And I asked her, that's such a long drive from where we lived. I mean, we lived out, in the suburb area of San Diego in Ramona, but she drove all the way into San Diego, which is, a good 40 minutes to an hour drive to get into that area every day. And she said it was worth it because she was paid twice what the average school teacher was paid in San Diego. So that told me a lot right there. I mean, was she such a superior teacher? Maybe. But they had higher standards at that school. My daughter attended Catholic school. Both my daughters did for a short time before we moved to the boonies, the country or the suburbs, whatever. And at the Catholic school that my kids were at, they were expected, and they all did. They were all reading by the end of kindergarten. But when we transferred to a public school, when we moved, reading wasn't expected to be known really until the end of second grade. So my daughters entered school reading, and it was quite boring for them at the beginning because it was like they had to go back and do all the stuff that they did at the Catholic school all over again. So school choice is a viable option. Charter schools are doing better than public schools. Why? Because those are pristine jobs. Those jobs, I don't know if they pay those teachers more, but I do know that those kids are more substantially invested in their education. Their parents, because they chose the charter school, because they chose it, their parents were more invested in their children's education. So that is why it's such a wonderful option we should have. Because when you get to choose, you are more picky. And when you're picky, you will want a better school. As it is right now, we just send our kids off to school and we kind of get what we get, because of the school district we're in. And the one that we're in right now, I would be fine with my kids going to school here and where I live. But if I had the option, I would pick a charter school or a private school all day long over a public school, all day long. Only because they're pickier about their teachers. They're even pickier about the kids. They will expel a kid in a heartbeat if they misbehave. They don't put up with crap in private schools or charter schools because it's hard to get in there. It's hard to get your kid in those schools. Sometimes there's a waiting list. You have to apply years in advance to get in those schools. So when people have the choice, they are more invested in making sure that that choice is worth their tax dollars. So I think that's what will be the answer for American students as a whole. I think that will be the answer. Charter schools are awesome. I think instead of abolishing police like they're protesting right now, which is ridiculous, they should really think about abolishing public schools in lieu of charter schools and private schools and give people the choice where their tax dollars go. I mean, why? When my daughters were at the Catholic school, I was paying tax dollars as if they were going to public school. So it's like I'm paying twice. And I don't think that's fair. I think we should have the choice. I think as parents, right now, as it is, most schools are suffering because of the bureaucracy of having a public school. There's so much bureaucracy just to get your kid in the school. And then when you get your kid in the school, you don't have any control over what happens. The teachers do. And hopefully you'll have really outstanding teachers like I grew up with. I think I had the last of the best teachers. I really do. I was blessed with the best teachers ever. And I had only maybe 2 teachers that I really didn't like, and I remember them very well. But I had some awesome teachers that I remember everything they ever said. And I remember Miss Estes. She was my French teacher. And I joined that class because I had a good accent because I grew up listening to French and speaking a little bit of French. And Miss Estes wanted me in her class so I could do the speech competition. They have a French speaking competition, and I had the French accent, and it was fun. It was good, really. Il plaît dans mon cœur comme il pleut sur la vie. Quelle est cette longueur qui pénètre mon cœur? Au bruit de la pluie, dans ce cœur qui s'éclaire. Quoi? Notre raison, c'est deuil et son raison. Ah, merde. That was fun. I miss that. I don't have anybody to practice French with anymore, or Spanish. Necesito hablar en español. I have Spanish-speaking friends who I beg them to help me practice my Spanish so I won't lose it because I'm losing my French. I'm losing my Spanish. And I really miss speaking foreign languages. Maybe I should get out of the house more. Maybe that's the thing. I know back in Ramona, I was a member of a club a friend of mine started for French-speaking people. And we would have it at her house, and it was fun. She was a French lady, and she was so funny because one night I didn't want to go. I was just tired. I had 4 kids, She didn't understand that because she didn't have kids. But I had 4 kids. I was tired. I was done. I just didn't want to go to a meeting and just make nice with a bunch of people I hardly know, So she says, "Oh, Kathy, you have to come to our French club tonight." And I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "Because," "you come. We'll have some nice warm beer." I'm thinking, nice warm beer? I mean, you're kind of losing me with that nice warm beer. I mean, those words don't even go together. Beer needs to be cold. If you're going to have a beer, it better be a cold, cold beer. And it only tastes good after golf and gardening. That's the only time I really love beer. Outside of that, I don't care for beer. But after golf, beer tastes wonderful. After gardening, beer tastes awesome. But just doesn't get me just from sitting around the house. But it's sort of funny that you connect certain beverages with certain activities. For instance, for me, sitting next to my pool, my old house, I had a pool, and sitting next to my pool, margaritas were in order. Margaritas or iced tea, depending on the time of day. And I drink iced tea all year long. I'm from the South. I mean, I would go to my Bible study. I always had a big thing of iced tea with me because we had a long Bible study. And my friend Teresa says, "Kathy, why do you always drink tea? It's like, all year long." I'm like, "I'm from the South. We drink iced tea in a blizzard. We don't care what time of the year it is. It's time for iced tea." But anyways, I think she was from St. Louis. Yeah. So she thought that was funny, but she also is a hiker. I don't know if you hike, but I'm not a hiker. And I'm not a camper either. But it's weird that all of my friends, they all have that in common, that they all hike and they all camp. And I'm thinking, why is it that we are friends when we have That's diametrically opposed to everything I'm about. I went camping before. People told me, you're going to love it. Give it a chance. You're just going to love it. And when I went camping, I lost friends. I was miserable and I made everybody around me miserable. And I'm sorry for that, but I never want to camp again. So after that, my husband would take the kids camping, fine. I said, so I packed their bags. I helped them get ready for their camping trip. But when they left, I had champagne. I had smoked oysters. I had some shrimp and some cocktail sauce. And I rented my movies. And then I, take a nice hot bubble bath. And, and I'm sitting there thinking, they're crazy. I mean, here we have this nice house, this comfy couch. And then, I take a bubble bath. I'm thinking, gosh, I hope they're not getting too dirty. And then I get in my nice clean bed. I'm thinking, gosh, I hope they're sleeping comfortably. Then I close my eyes and I'm thinking, those idiots. I mean, because I'm comfortable. This is what I'm about. I'm about creating a comfortable situation for myself and those around me. So I don't understand. Please bear with me. If you're a camper, you know me. My friends, they're all campers and hikers. They know not to even ask. Because to me, it just sounds so repulsive. I worked at this one office. Actually, it was my church office, and I volunteer. And I was working there, and we had a new priest, and he was a hiker. And this lady was trying to give him instructions on how to get to this special spot where they have a waterfall or something. Anyways, and I told her that he wasn't there, and I could take a message. So she gave me the directions. And as she's describing the directions to this spot that he was going to go hike to, it just sounded horrible. And she just, and then you're going to see this, and then you're going to see this rock, but watch out for this because this happened last time I was there. And then you're going to see this, and then you're going to go uphill for 2 miles. Uphill, 2 miles. And she goes, and when you get to this spot, it's just beautiful. I'm like, well, I should hope so. If you're going to go through all that just to get to the spot, take a picture for me and then tell me about it later. I mean, I like a picture that I could paint from, but no. I mean, you're stepping over bugs and snakes and, poison ivy. And I just don't get it. I'm not a city girl, but I guess I am kind of. I'm a city suburban girl. There you go. That's who I am. I'm a city suburban girl. And I am not into the camping thing. But if you are, God bless you. Love nature. God loves you. You do you. And I'll do me. So here we are. We've got another week of endless news stories about people being really crazy and obscene. And I'm really annoyed. I'm so glad I live in the suburbs. I just don't get, I'm so glad. I feel so blessed. And I've stayed away from the drama of the city. And I'm so sad that so many people have lost their livelihoods and lost their belongings to so-called rioters and looters and protesters. I'm sure there are a few in there that are nice people, but I really don't see that you're doing anybody any good. I really don't. I think what I saw on TV where people were acting like barbarians. And that's not going to do anything for race relations in this country. Nobody's going to. I mean, really, now I want to hire more black people when I see black people running out of stores with, stuff that doesn't belong to them. Now that's going to make things better for us in this country. Do you think that's going to improve our relations? All I could think about at the time was, wow, all the work we've done to get ahead and to be respected. We wanted to command respect. You don't demand respect. Protesting is like, I demand respect. But when you command respect, it's your behavior. It's what you do. It's how you treat people. That is how you get respect. It has to be earned. And we're not earning it for the looks of it. We're not earning it as black people for the looks of it. I saw some white people acting like, a-holes as well. I mean, really, to be honest, I was really ashamed for America from all these people. I was ashamed. Freaking Antifa. What the heck? Really? You just want, and the anarchists, they want no law? They want there to be no law? They're nuts. They're out of their freaking minds. This is the United States of America. If you don't want law and order, go somewhere else. I'm sure there's some corner of the world that can accept you for who you are and your anarchists protesting. Blah. I'm just done with you people. I'm done with all of it. I'm done. Done. I'll talk about it soon. I'm sorry. I hate to go on, but you know what? Life can be really good if you concentrate. That's why I do like golf. In golf, you're living completely in the moment. Living in the moment. That's what we need to do. Not tomorrow. We're not going to live for the next moment or the last moment. This moment. When you address that ball and you're getting ready for your swing, you're in that moment purely. And that is why people golf. That is why you golf. You can get your mind off of everything else in the world. It is a fundamentally, wonderfully sane sport. And I really think that people have missed the mark when they tear down politicians for golfing. I've done it before. Before I golfed, I did that. I really did. I mean, I remember when Obama went golfing. I think it was during Katrina or something like that. I think I picked on him. That was before I started golfing. But now that I golf, I see it a whole different way. That's one place you can get your mind completely out of the whole thing of the world, all the stuff this world brings to you. You can get your mind off of it. And we so need that. We need to get our minds off of it. We need to get our minds on God, because that seems to work for me. But get your mind off of the craziness of the world and live in that moment, in that time, and be there. Just be there with Christ. Or in the case of golf, with that ball and the club. But live in the moment. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday. Live in the moment. This is Kathy of kathysright.com. Subscribe. And I'll be seeing you guys soon. Hang in there. We're going to make it through this. Bye.